Good evening. Hello, world. Long time no see, um, especially for my YouTubers. Um, well, and for my Facebookers too. I usually don't do videos on my Facebook channel, on my Facebook platform, but my channel for my YouTube, yes, this is usually who I'm making my videos to, the audience I'm reaching. But I came on here today because I wanted to share something wonderful that happened yesterday, Sabbath, at my church. It's something that has, well, all the years that I've attended church and old enough to understand what's going on, has never happened. I have never experienced something this supernatural at church. Okay. And I was just going to type it up and text it out and post it, but I said, well, at least on my Facebook page, but I said, no, that's too much. So I decided to do this video to just elaborate on the experience. And I wanted to share it with y'all to let you know the urgency of the times we're living in, and how much we need to be prepared spiritually. So let me get to my point. So yesterday, the order of our services, sometimes we have a sister that usually prays before we get our services started. We start with prayer. So this particular young lady, was kind of already in the spirit. Her face was, she was basically mourning, just in tears. I wasn't sure if it was something like of a tears of joy or tears of, just woe, okay? And she wasn't called to pray this particular time, because, like I said, the service had just started and she was already in the spirit. And so the person in charge came to me and asked if I would pray, because I've prayed before, not often, but this was just my second time praying, and I've been going to this church for like 3 years now. It was 3 years in January. All praises. Love my church. And so I said, sure. The old Kim would have just been hesitant, reluctant, just no. But I'm trying to learn to be more obedient. And so if I'm asked to pray, because I always had an issue or problem with speaking in public in front of people. So when I realized it's not about me, I had to put me aside and decrease, that he may be, increase in me, and get the glory. So I went up to pray, and I started off with the Lord's Prayer. And then, before I went up, after he asked me, I asked the Lord to give me what to say. And that's what I did. That was my assignment for the order of service yesterday, Sabbath. And the things that he gave me to say, the sister that usually prays, she told me later on that evening, she said I had covered basically everything that she was going to say. Out of the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established, is what the word says. And she came to me and told me, well, we actually went out to eat later on after service, and she shared with me that this is what the Lord had given her, the same things that I was saying. And so all praises to the Most High for that. To him be all glory. I take no glory in anything. I take nothing for granted concerning him. And I just wanted to say, in between, from the beginning to the end, in the confirmation of the prayers, the service was a different service. It was just, it was different because right before the word came forth, the bishop, before he got up to preach, during praise and worship, towards the end, you know how sometimes you're standing, some of us are standing during praise and worship, and all of a sudden, I heard, you know, because at our church, we blow the shofar, okay? The shofar is what the Jews and, you know, use, or back in the Bible times, I'll say they used to blow the trumpet. They used a shofar. And I own a shofar. And I guess I should have brought it. I'm going to go get it because some people may not know what a shofar is, what it looks like. I mean, you could Google it yourselves, but I should have been more prepared. So let me get that for you. And they're not that easy to blow, okay? I can blow mine when I'm concentrating. So, yeah, we blow the shofar at my church. And because we're Hebrew Pentecostal, and I don't go by titles anymore, but that's just the church that I attend, and that's where the Lord led me to go. But I found out denominational wise, they're Hebrew Pentecostal. So I've been learning so much going to this church about keeping the commandments, how important that still is. Keeping his feast days, that's just like keeping the commandments. It's a requirement for all of his children to keep the feast days, and that's found in Leviticus 23. And no, it's not done away with. And no, it didn't just mean just for the children of Israel. It's all those who name the name of Christ. We're supposed to be in obedience to his word in its entirety, people. Don't let man fool you. There's a lot of people going to be ending up in eternity lost because they listen to man and instead of choosing to listen to the Most High. Back to the shofar. This is a shofar. Okay, this is a small one. Some of the members at my church has we have one big one, like a big long one. This is just a little hand one, kind of like. So I'm not going to try to do it. But so here the feast days are coming up, starting in Abib. And Abib, Abib, is the first of the year, the first month of the year. Our true first month of the year. Our true new year is April. So that's when the beginning of the feast days start. So I'm excited. We get excited this time of year because these are our celebrations that we're supposed to keep, the holidays that holy days that we're supposed to keep annually. But the world has everyone most convinced that it's about the other ones. So that's neither here nor there. Another story, another topic, another day, another video. Nevertheless, while we were standing in praise and worship, I heard a shofar blow. So sometimes you want to just turn around and see who's blowing it. There's certain ones that typically blow them. They have their own personal ones. So I turned around. I saw it wasn't the sister that usually blows it. I saw another brother back there. He wasn't blowing it. I'm looking around like, who's blowing the shofar? So after that, I didn't see no one, so I turned back around and give it another second thought. So it wasn't until one of my brothers in Christ came up to me and said, come and talk to me when you get a chance. So right before the bishop got up, I went out after praise and worship. I went out and he met me halfway. And he said, sis, he said, did you hear that? I said, what, the shofar? He said, yes. He's like, I was looking around trying to see who was blowing it, and I didn't see no. So it was him, and it was a sister behind me that typically blows it, who was not blowing it. She seemed to have thought it was the guy across from us that was motioning it or gesturing it with his own voice, but it was too. I mean, the only way that could have happened is if the Most High used him as a vessel and allowed him to. Ooh, it was just like something like that, and it was just too supernatural for it to have been from just a natural man. And we discussed it, and we just concluded it was supernatural that we had a visitation, y'all. The Most High visited us at our church yesterday in a supernatural way, and that could only mean one of two things: a warning. Well, either way, it's a warning, whether it's about him, his soon return, or is about judgment coming. A warning, warning comes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So it went right in order, because when the bishop got up to preach, the first thing he talked about and said was about our house, our congregation. There was rebellion in the house, there's pride in the house. And so he was in a rebuking mode, people. And we don't get that too much anymore. We get these leaders that want to talk about fattening y'all pockets and getting all these blessings and houses and cars. It's not about that. That's not true prophecy. Okay? That's not the leadership you want to be under. I'm telling you, not at the time and day as we are living right now, with the soon arrival of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You don't want to be under a pastor just always just talking about being grace abusers. That's another one. Just want to sugarcoat your sin and make it seem like you're okay. You don't want to be under that type of leadership. You don't want to be under the leadership of a man or woman that's talking about how the Lord's going to bless you with this and that and how to prosper. All that's fine, but at this hour, this late hour, that's all. That is temporary stuff that's going to pass away anyway. So right now we need to have our souls in good standing and up to par for him to receive us when he comes any moment now. Because that trumpet, and that's like a sound of the alarm, like in Joel 2:1. In Joel 2:1, those who are not familiar with it, many are, says, "Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord comes, for it is nigh at hand." Nigh at hand, near. The day of the Lord is near, people. I know these pages are over 2,000 years old, but his word is true yesterday. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So it's applicable to every generation. Don't let man fool you that, man wrote it. Yeah, man wrote it. Holy men wrote it, and was inspired by, every word was inspired by the Most High Yah, God. And he used man. It's no secret that he uses man to fulfill his plans in the earth, people. He uses anyone willing to be used. Does he need us? No. But he has his children. He wants us to be with him in eternity. He's trying to reconcile. He wants to reconcile us back to how it was in the beginning. And we're going to be in a new heaven and a new earth, according to Revelation 21. So it's time. It's finally time. If you want to talk about the great reset that the world wants to talk about, the great reset, that's the true great reset, people. Revelation 21 is the true great reset. And if your leaders are not talking to you in this manner and telling you and warning you of what's coming, what's going on, and the consequences if you don't get your soul right with the Most High, they are setting you up for failure. And they're going to have a lot of blood on their hands when it's all said and done, including their own. It's like the blind leading the blind, as it says in Matthew. And guess what? They all fall in the same ditch. So you don't want to be a part of that popular church, the church that The Laodicean church that Revelation also talks about. The lukewarm church. The church that don't really care about your soul. They only care about getting money out your pockets and filling theirs. You don't want to be, I'm telling you. Because my thing is, I had a bishop that used to say this, if I'm going to hell, I'm not going to go to hell from this city. I'm going to go to a major city and live my best sinful life and do everything I can and want to do under the sun. Why be half foot in the church and half foot in the world on your way to the same eternal damnation that the sinner's going to be and play church? It's just ridiculous. I mean, you're either in or you're out. You're either hot or you're cold. Because he said if you're lukewarm, he's going to spit you out of his mouth anyway. So don't fool yourself. Don't let man fool you. Listen to the Most High's word, people. Trust his word, not man's, not your own ways. He said, acknowledge him in all your ways and he will direct your path. He said, in all that getting, get understanding. And doing things in your own ways, having your own theologies of what the word says, and having taking his word out of context, like that's going to justify your wrong, your sin. He said, repent ye therefore and be ye converted. Converted means to change, turn, do a 180. Different lifestyle, people. He said, and he will blot out your sins. There are conditions to this walk. People think it's unconditional, that Christ's love is unconditional. It was unconditional when he went to the cross to give every man an opportunity. His mission was completed when he died. Not everything was fulfilled when he died. His mission to die was fulfilled. But after that, we got to do the work. Faith without works is dead. It's not faith. In James 6 or 2, one of them says it's not faith alone, people. It's not belief alone. Even the demons believe. He said in his word, the demons believe and tremble. You got to learn this word. You got to read it. You need the Holy Spirit. He will, if you're obedient, the Holy Spirit will dwell in you, and he will give you understanding of what his word says. But you have to obey, people. You have to obey. It's imperative. You can't just think you're going to wash your way into heaven and it's like, oh, I made it. You know, even the righteous that's doing everything they can possibly to be perfect is still scarcely, barely making it in. Because he said even the righteous are scarcely going to make it in. Even on our filthy little righteousness, thinking we're perfect and doing what we're supposed to do. Because he said, be ye perfect, even as my Father in heaven is perfect. Matthew 5:48. He said, be ye holy, for I am holy. In Hebrews 12:14, he says, for without holiness, no man or woman will see the Lord. So we have to be holy. It's a requirement. It's a condition. So I'm saying he's a conditional God, people. People got him twisted. And they think listening to a man or a woman that's so renowned and so this and that, just so, it's like they are gods. It's like they worship them more than they trust them, man, more than they trust the Most High. And they think because these people are so educated and scholarly in the word, they think they don't even have to open their Bibles. You're setting yourself up for failure, people, when you do operate like that. And you got to walk this thing out for yourself. It's a personal thing. He says, save yourself from this untoward generation. Save yourself. Because when we stand before him, our bishops and our pastors and our elders and whoever else over us ain't going to be there with us. We got to get this thing for ourselves, for yourself. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's the problem. A lot of people don't have that fear and that trembling today. So What happened yesterday? Ooh, it was an awesome day. Awesome Sabbath day. Um, and yes, Saturday, I'm referring to the seventh day, according to Exodus 20 and 8 through 11. And then you want to also see Isaiah 58, 13 through 14 on how to keep it. But he's talking about it through all the scriptures, Old and New Covenant. And so people just see and do what they want to do and think they're going to be okay, but because they think it's all about grace. He said, shall we abound in sin that grace may abound? He said, y'all forbid. How can you continue in sin, any longer? Grace is a reason that you don't sin, not a license to sin, people. But, yesterday was so awesome. I was just so privileged that I was one of the ones he let hear it. Because when I stood up to give my testimony, because we do have testimony services sometimes. So I gave my testimony on how the Lord protected me yesterday. Y'all, somebody just got in my truck when I was waiting for my daughter to get out to come out the store. And this big husky guy got in my truck. And I turned around and looked at him like, man, what you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He got out, instantly got out. Because that could have been bad out of the way. I could have been carjacked and killed and whatever. It could have been ended so badly because of the day and time we're living in. We're living in those kind of times, but I caught myself slipping. I typically keep my doors locked. And this time I'm thinking, because I'm at the door of the store waiting on my daughter to come out, I'm like, I didn't even think about locking it. I normally don't. I believe in locking my car doors while I'm idle, even sitting at a light. People, lock your doors. Don't take nothing for granted. Sitting, waiting for someone to come out the store, lock your door. Okay? That man got in my truck, opened the door, sat in my car, in my truck. And he apologized because their truck did look similar to mine. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. The man got in my truck, a whole total stranger. And the Lord, he's quite the protector. He got my back, y'all. I love me some him because he always got my back. He is so good to me. He is a good father. So I had a lot going on. That happened on Friday evening. So starting out the Sabbath, when we were wrapping up our evening, and that happened as one of the last things that took place. We had one more stop to make. And I had just told her at another stop prior to that, and she waited in the car for me to go in and come out. And I was at the door, and I said, lock the door, because I don't want nobody to come steal my baby. Talking about her. She's 29. So she locked the doors. And here, I'm the one later, a few minutes after that, I'm the one that was almost kidnapped, carjacked and everything. I mean, the irony. So we don't take nothing for granted today, people. We have to be on our P's and Q's naturally and spiritually. And, yesterday, I'm so full from yesterday. I look so forward to the Sabbath because you just never know what's going to take place, what the Lord's going to do. It's just like you go through this work week, and then you work hard, and then you wait to the Sabbath. And I was like, He said to look at the Sabbath as a delight, and it's such a delight to me. Once you get the truth and start obeying, it's so refreshing. It's so, what's the word I'm trying to use? Exuberating or something. Exhilarating. No, something like that. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But anyway. But the shofar was blown at my church yesterday, and nobody blew it. That's it in a nutshell. But it had to have been an angel there blowing the shofar. And then one of my brothers, he got up during his testimony and had his testimony. He gave warning, and it was like the trumpet was like a woe. I don't know which trumpet sounded, the shofar, which one it was, but that last trumpet is about to blow, y'all. From what I understand and research, Bible scholars say there's going to be like 100 trumpets blown before that last trump. We don't know I don't know how accurate that is, but we don't know which number Trump, because people over the land across the globe have been saying on different videos that they've been hearing trumpets. I've heard them. I heard it like two summers ago. I heard one when I was at my job right before, when it's like when I came outside. I had just gotten to work. I came back outside to get something out my truck. All of a sudden I heard this trumpet. It was so loud. It's like I couldn't, no, it's no way nobody else could hear it. It couldn't have been just me. So when I went back inside, I asked, I said, did anybody hear a trumpet or hear a loud horn or something? Everybody I asked said no. I looked on the news to see if they said anything about any alarm, loud alarm. I Googled it and everything in my local area. Nothing. So it's only gonna be certain people who's gonna hear that trumpet. When he blows it, everybody's not gonna hear it. You're gonna want to hear it. And when I gave my testimony, I asked by a show of hands who heard the shofar, and not everybody raised their hand. So you want to hear the trumpet, people? Yeah, I want to hear that trumpet when he blows. He's coming back soon, y'all. Sooner than many people believe. So we got to be repentant from sin. Stop that sinning, y'all. Obey his commandments. Do what he says in his word. Love people. Love everybody unconditionally. Love him, number one. Love him and love everybody else as you love yourself. Forgive. Can't hold no grudges. And walk this thing out and endure to the end. Because he said the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Okay? We don't know whose end. Everybody's end is not the same. Some people leave here before his coming. So that was their ending. Did they endure to that end, their end? And some are going to be alive, remain and be alive when he returns. That is another ending. That's the main ending. You want to be ready. Regardless your ending, you got to be ready and in good standing when he comes. Or whenever your time is up. So I said all that the Most High has put me on here to say. And maybe somebody else heard a shofar at their church, or someone in their city heard it through the city or something. If you did, say, please, by all means, make it known in the comments below. Because yesterday was a supernatural day. It was just awesome. It was so awesome. And I was just so excited and happy and grateful that he chose little on me to be a part of it. So that's all I have, people. Y'all be safe. Be blessed. Most of all, be ready. Y'all bless.